Today we'll be looking at the Puerto Rico map in Tableau.
Today we're going to be taking a look at the Puerto Rico map. So one of the companies that I work for operates in Puerto Rico, and there's always different issues with trying to be able to map different things in Puerto Rico. So I'm going to walk you through just some of the solutions to help get rid of these unknowns that you have here. So you can either click here and hit edit locations, and it'll show you any locations that you have unknown, or you can go up to the top of the map, hit edit locations, and it'll bring you back to that same menu just in case you just dismiss this. So as you can see here, we have a list of counties that we're going to be looking at. So the actual measure or the dimension that was used here was the counties in Puerto Rico, not the cities or states or anything like that. So the way Puerto Rico works is you have the state, which is going to be Puerto Rico, and then you can have counties, and then those counties have cities that are within it. And so we can see it mapped most of them pretty well, but we have a few unknowns right here. So we have this NA. Obviously, that one's not going to map to anything because we don't know what NA is. NA is obviously not a county, a city, or anything like that. So we're just going to disregard this, but we'll take a look at some of these other ones, and we'll start with San Antonio in this particular example. So the first thing I'm going to look at is, okay, my country or my region, United States, that's good. I do want to fix this to Puerto Rico just in case we happen to get something that could be in, any United States territory. Now it'll force it to Puerto Rico, and it's only going to force it to that particular part of the map. That didn't happen in this case, but it's just good best practices. So we still have 7 issues. Okay, cool. So let's focus right here on San Antonio. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my drop-down menu and see if it's on here. So I'm going to type in S, and I'm just going to search and see if it's in my counties. And I'm looking, and I don't see San Antonio as one of my counties in here. Cool. So the next thing I'm going to have to do, because I don't know a lot about Puerto Rico, is actually go to some type of map or something like that to kind of figure out exactly where it is. So I went ahead and did a search. I just went to this site called Suburban Stats, but you can literally just Google Puerto Rico county list, and I went to the first place that was there. It happened to give me this link right here. And what I did was hit Control F. Well, first let me show you. So it's broken out. So it shows you all the counties in Puerto Rico, which is cool. And that's what we're looking for. So I'm going to type in San Antonio. And so as I type that in, I see I get 3 results here, and I'm looking and I see that I get 3 results, but they're under cities in Puerto Rico and not counties in Puerto Rico. So that's probably going to be my first major issue right there is I'm trying to pinpoint a city in Puerto Rico and not a county, but I'm working with the counties list. So Tableau's like, dude, I don't know what you want. So that's the first thing that we need to fix. And I'm going to show you 2 ways in which to go about it, and you can use whichever way you feel best. I'll show you the best way. So obviously, it looks like it's a city. So what I'm going to do is actually just come over here and get the GPS coordinates. So you can type in, let's see what I type in here. I just typed in San Antonio, Puerto Rico coordinates. I kind of went through and just found one that looked like it was going to be the best. It just so happened to be this date and time info, .info, where it just gave me the coordinates just the way I needed it. So I have the Latin long, so you can actually input that here in Tableau. So I can go right here to this list, and so obviously it's not here in this list, so I can enter my lat longs, and if I want to bring that up here, I can just copy and paste that, so I'll do that real quick. Okay, so now you can see that I have the lat long for San Antonio, and you want to make sure it's San Antonio, Puerto Rico, not San Antonio, Texas, which could come up in there. So, and I just entered the entire degrees, lat long, and so I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And so now it's going to add it into there, and now I only have 6 issues instead of 7 issues. Great. So what we're going to do is it's going to put a dot at that particular point since we have a filled map. So I'm going to zoom in right here. And so if we zoom in, we can see that, oops, too far. Let's zoom out a little bit. But technically the city of San Antonio is located right there. So it's behind this entire shape that we have here. And that shape seems to be the city of the county of Dorado. So we have an option now, and we'll go back to our edit our locations. So it looks like it's actually located in Dorado, and I looked at a map. It looks like that's the actual point of San Antonio. So I wouldn't actually do this in this case since we're looking at counties. What I would do is just actually map it directly to Dorado, so that anytime San Antonio comes up in the database, we can go ahead and just map it directly to Dorado, and now it'll fall into this entire shape right here. So all the data now be aggregated into Dorado instead of just San Antonio. So that would be my solution. That's what I would do, and I would go ahead and do that for the rest of them so that each one of them falls into a particular county and not a city. So one last thing I wanted to point out real quick is if you're using the web version, which I have a lot of users that just use the web version just because licensing is a lot cheaper. As you can see, you don't have that edit locations button down here, and if you go up to map, you don't have that option either. So you can change the way the map looks, but you don't get all those options. So in this case, if you needed to convert these cities over to counties, what I would do is just write a special case statement. So I would go ahead, find my counties on here, and I would just create a calculated field off of that and just use a case statement. So, you'll write something like case, and then you can say, when it's, and I'm just going to say So, when it's San Antonio, then just make it, and I forgot the name of the county that we were looking at, but I'll just call it Dulo County or something like that. Whenever it's this, else, then, obviously you write all your different cities in there. So let me go ahead and just map this out so it'll look just the way that you guys would expect it to look. So, say you come in there and you have a bunch of different exceptions, else, then just, call it whatever county that it came in as. Sorry, writing on the web version is a little tricky for me. Whatever the county is, and then you can go ahead and have it in. And we'll just call this new county. So this is something that you can do. Obviously, these will all be different, but you can write a case statement, and then you would use this new county field inside the map instead of the old one. And this would give you all the results. So you can say, hey, whenever you see this, then just map it to this county, and you can do all that on Tableau. So this is if you're using the web version and you need to customize it and you don't have all those options to be able to do it natively.